When I started dancing, I was in middle school.
He fell in love with his best friend. When she's around, he feels nothing but joy. But she was already broken, and it made her blind. But she can never believe that love would ever treat her right.
At the time, it was so fun because there was nothing to it. It's something I did in my room consistently, constantly. My parents had bought me a desktop, and it came with like speakers, obviously, and so I was blasting music from my computer essentially. And then prior to that, I had gotten a blue iPod Nano with the camera on the back, and so I would use that to record myself dancing. And so for me, I was always an audience of one because I had like a mirror in my room from my dresser that allowed me to like see myself dancing and what I was doing. And so there was never any pressure to essentially be good at it because it was always something that I did for me, and really a means to escape. I think there was a lot of emotions I felt as a kid that I didn't understand then that I understand now, and anger was one of them. And so I got to just dance out all of this frustration, all this anger that I had, and no one was looking. I was like just like in my own world, my own bubble, and I would dance to all kinds of stuff. Like Sierra was a big one. Chris Brown was a big one. Justin Bieber, when he was really popular at the beginning of his career. K-pop, when I got into K-pop, that was a huge thing that I was dancing to, thinking that I was gonna be like this K-pop dancer. And so it was huge for me to be able to express myself in that way because I've always felt very in my head about my own form of self-expression and what it looks like and what it sounds like, and dancing didn't require all of these thoughts, didn't require all of this overthinking. It just really required me to put on the song that I wanted to listen to in the moment and just do whatever it is that I wanted to do. I think for me, dancing was mine. And I know that sounds a little egotistical, but it was mine to possess in a way where this was solely for me. And so I felt like when I went to college, I wanted to put myself out there more. In high school, I was in theater, kind of back and forth between being in wardrobe and then acting. But those never really felt like for me. I think it was something that felt like a community effort, but it didn't feel like just something specifically for me. And when I went to college, I really wanted to put myself out there. And so they had a dance company, and that was a ticket for me to do something that I felt like I was naturally good at. Like, it didn't require any work. Again, this is not requiring any work. So this is something that I'm just gonna do solely for me. And so I signed up, and I'm always gonna remember when I auditioned because you had to learn choreography. And then the last 30 seconds, you got to just freestyle. And that last 30 seconds, I started crumping. And because I took what I was doing in my room and I brought it to that gymnasium. And I think that that was the first time that I really got recognized for dance. I mean, I danced once in high school in front of a theater of people, but it was in the background while someone sang. And so, again, the focus is more on the person singing, not on the dancing. And so, being a part of dance company, it was strictly just about dancing. And I was excited for that. I felt like this was something that I was natural at. I've been doing this since I was in middle school. This is my thing. This is my time. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna push myself even further and go for a solo. And so I chose to ultimately dance to, because I changed the song so many times. Chandelier by Sia. That was a huge moment for me because, first of all, I freestyled the entire solo. Because I did choreography for the other dances, but I didn't grow up doing choreography. I always freestyled. Everything was just whatever I felt. Like if it came with the lyric or if it came with the beat, that is what was produced. And so I took that same energy and pretended the stage was my bedroom, and that is what I did. The following semester, I went out for a solo again, and then I didn't get it. And I know that was the first time as a dancer that I felt rejected. And I did not handle it well. I handled it in a very egotistical way, in a very immature way, because this was something that I loved and enjoyed, that was fun. And now it felt like everything else, it was under scrutiny, or it was being reviewed, or it had to be at a certain level or a certain par. And that sense of rejection for something that I felt was me and mine in a way was hurtful, but I didn't know how to express that then in a healthy way. And so I was very bogged down by not being able to do a solo again, and feeling as if suddenly my dancing wasn't good enough when it wasn't even supposed to be something that was measured or judged in the first place. And so now you take something that is my escape, and now it doesn't have that feel anymore. It's just another thing I feel like I either have to be good at or I don't do it at all. And it slowly lost its spark for me. Like over time, it just sort of started to lose its magic, lose what it meant to me. And that's solely and purely my fault, because instead of reinventing it or pushing myself to get better, I just accepted that rejection as I wasn't good enough, and then didn't try to get better. I just let it fizzle out, and that's it. And so when you slowly stop loving something as much as you used to, or doing something as much as you used to, it's not an all at once process. It happens little bit by little bit by little bit, and then all at once. Because after college, I moved down south, and little bit by little bit, I just stopped dancing, because now I'm not in college no more. I'm not in the environment. I don't feel the need to be creative in that way, and slowly stopped dancing. And it was my dad who was really like, like, you don't dance anymore? And I'm like, no, like, it's not, I just don't do it anymore. And he said, you were good at it. Do you remember when you were a kid and you used to do this all the time upstairs? And I do remember that. Like, those are some of my most vivid memories, as a kid, just being locked in my room for 4 hours, just dancing and just dancing and dancing and dancing. And so I had to essentially figure out a way to reinvent what dancing meant to me. And so now I would say it's more of exercise, yes, because dancing is just great exercise in general. But it's a great way to blow off steam, which kind of is similar to what it felt like when I was a kid, blowing off steam. But now it's steam as an adult, and what comes with being with an adult. And so I'm getting back into it slowly and in my own time. I do it randomly. I don't pressure myself to do it. I just take my time with it, and have allowed myself to just enjoy it again. I think being in my apartment, dancing all around my living room, is very similar to when I was a kid, just locked in my room, just dancing all over my room. As creatives, we're very connected to our art, right? And so anything that rejects that art or makes it feel unwelcome or unheard or unseen, it's almost like someone's rejecting like your most interpersonal world and your most interpersonal thoughts and emotions. And it's not a good feeling, but I think that's where I made a mistake. I transitioned dancing from being this thing that I did for me, and made it something that I was doing for the approval and admiration of others. And when you do that, that's how you lose your art. That's how you lose your connection to it, because it's no longer yours. And dancing truly was always mine. I think my advice, for my unsolicited advice, for any creative in any space, is to always just do it for yourself. I think that's the lane and the headspace that I'm growing to be in, especially this year. This is the first time I feel like I've been just making things and creating, and innovating solely for the purpose of myself. And I think that's why I've had more fun with it than I have had in previous years, where I felt like I needed to create in order to produce, or in order to create a result that is so likable that it might, generate monetary value. And I just choose not to succumb to that space anymore. And it is a cognizant choice that you have to make, because you always want to feel like it's good, like your art is good. But at the same time, everyone's got an opinion. And if you held the weight of everyone's opinion, you would drown. So,